Fast cars, big houses, and expensive jewelry. These are just a few of the things that rich people get to enjoy. But have you ever wondered about what foods the wealthy may eat that you may be missing out on? Caviar and lobster are not the only meals of choice for the rich and elite. There are many different types of expensive food that you may have never even heard of that could be a daily meal for the richest and wealthy among us. Today, we'd like to introduce you to 10 of the most wickedly expensive foods that only millionaires can afford. Saffron. When we notice that our food is lacking a certain seasoning, we usually resort to salt and pepper. In the case of the super rich, however, the spice rack has a much more noble ingredient ready: saffron. Just 1 gram of saffron costs about €30. To further explain this crazy price, saffron is an extract that can only be harvested by hand. There are no machines to help speed the process along, meaning this explains the incredible price of saffron. In order to extract a single kilogram of saffron, the workers have to collect up to 200,000 individual flowers. In other words, in order to receive just 1 kilogram of the seasoning, a massive area of farmland that would be the equivalent of 2 football fields must be cleared. That's a lot of time, space, and dedication. In addition to this, the plants bloom only once a year for a period of 2 weeks. The saffron must be harvested as soon as it blooms for the flavor to remain unharmed. When you think about both of these issues combined, these circumstances mean that a single kilo of saffron costs an impressive €14,000. The taste of the most expensive spice in the world can be described as bitter hot. It's not a spice you'd want to put in everyday meals, but many of the rich and elite love the flavor of saffron and the extra kick it can give to spicy dishes. Around 200 tons of saffron are produced every year, and over 90% of it is produced in Iran. This noble ingredient has been around for thousands of years, and records show that saffron was used in Crete more than 3,500 years ago. Panda tea. What do sugar, lemon wedges, and panda droppings have in common? They all perfectly fit in a cup of tea. At least, that's the opinion of the Chinese businessman An Yanxi. But it's not quite as disgusting as you imagine it to be. In fact, the panda droppings are not added to the tea as the main ingredient. Rather, the excrement of these fluffy bamboo eaters is only used to help fertilize the soil of tea leaves. It may seem strange, but the feces is used to help the tea leaves grow much larger and fuller, giving them a much more unique flavor. The Chinese justify this with the fact that the panda manure contains an extraordinary number of nutrients that are far superior to the components of industrial fertilizer. Pandas, who typically eat mostly bamboo, can only digest around a third of the food they eat. The rest of their meal is pushed through their system without being properly digested. Yanxi had his poop recipe patented and secured 11 tons of panda dung for the first growth of his tea. It has been said that a kilogram of this unique tea costs around $60,000, but the tea has many more properties aside from its unique flavor. According to fans of the tea, it can also help in fending off diseases like cancer. We don't know how true this may be, but it certainly seems interesting. White sturgeon caviar. Caviar. For some people, it's an exquisite culinary delight. For others, it's a disgusting porridge made from fish eggs. Regardless of whether you find caviar appetizing or not, one thing is for sure, it's unbelievably expensive. There are many different types of caviar that can seek even higher prices than you may expect. Among these ranks of real caviar is one type in particular that comes from the white sturgeon. White sturgeon caviar is, without a doubt, the most expensive type of caviar that money can buy. The fish that produce this delicacy are albino sturgeon, which are specially bred to have white skin and produce this interesting variety of caviar. While other types of caviar are mostly dark or orange-red in color, the most expensive caviar on our planet has a yellowish-white sheen. The kilo price for white sturgeon caviar is usually between 15,000 and 65,000 euros. In the past, the sturgeon were slaughtered to produce this unique caviar. Since 2014, however, producers have been using a different process in which only the eggs are used for production. This means the sturgeon are able to live much longer lives and produce many more batches of caviar. We don't know if this will bring the price down over time or not, but time will tell. LAMBDA olive oil. When you think about Mediterranean foods, there's hardly a dish that comes to mind that doesn't use some form of olive oil. Our ancestors are known to have pressed the oil out of olives as early as 8,000 years ago, meaning that the majority of Mediterranean foods are based upon ancient recipes that used this commonly available oil. However, all those years ago, the oil was not only used for foods, but also as a natural remedy for many ailments. According to ancient humans, olive oil could have been used to fight off many different types of skin conditions and would even help with internal inflammation, such as arthritis or certain gastrointestinal conditions. Even today, this oil still holds a reputation for being incredibly healthy and has proven benefits for fighting off certain medical conditions. It can also help improve the health of your heart when it's used properly. The most expensive version of olive oil that can be purchased is known as LAMBDA. This oil is made in Greece and is extracted from the oldest olive trees in the world. These trees have been around for thousands of years, and they continue to produce fruit in the modern world, though the oil is said to have a much more unique flavor than the oil you can buy off the shelf at your local supermarket. Because of this, the oil is known to cost as much as $22,000 per bottle, and it is in high demand. So if you're looking to truly take your olive oil experience to the next level, be prepared to take out a second mortgage on your home. Ayam CEMANI. Even taking a glance at these chickens shows that they're far different from the birds we see in our everyday lives. The Ayam CEMANI breed has been considered legendary in many cultures, and it was often used in rituals many years ago. They're believed by some to have mystical powers, though they're often simply kept as livestock these days. The Ayam CEMANI owes its unique color pattern to a rare genetic mutation. This causes the bird's features to turn jet black, which is very different from modern chickens and birds. Even the bones and the meat of these chickens are known to possess a jet black color that's unique to this breed. The black meat is considered a delicacy in some parts of the world, and its unique flavor has been compared to partridge meat or pheasant meat. These days, you can go to your local grocery store and purchase a chicken for less than $10, and it'll be fully cooked for you. However, a single live Ayam CEMANI is estimated to cost around $200. To put that into perspective, if you were to buy a dozen normal chickens, it would only cost about $150. Toak chocolate. We've all been there. You're sitting in front of the TV late at night and suddenly get a craving for something sweet. What do you reach for? A chocolate bar, of course, but what would a millionaire version of yourself reach for? Probably a much more expensive chocolate bar. Toak chocolate is a unique type of chocolate that's known for being the most expensive chocolate on the planet. These chocolate bars only weigh about 50 grams, but a pack costs about 620 euros. If you convert this to a per kilo price, that would mean this chocolate costs more than 12,000 euros per kilogram. The chocolate is unique because more than 3/4 of its mass is made from Ecuadorian cocoa. This is a rare form of cocoa that's very difficult to come by and requires a lot of care and attention to grow and harvest. This special type of cocoa bean was believed to have been extinct for many years, but a few farmers have managed to bring this cocoa back from the brink and now create amazing chocolate bars with the rare plant. White truffle. Very similar to caviar, Truffles are known to be a commodity that can only be purchased by those who are filthy rich. However, truffles vary in rarity, size, shape, and price. One of the most precious of all the mushrooms in the world is the white truffle. These truffles can range from being super expensive to slap your mama expensive, meaning only the richest of the rich can afford to cook them into their daily meals. Annual truffle harvests can vary greatly, meaning some years you may be able to find hundreds of truffles in the soil. However, in other years there may be only a few dozen available. This causes prices to rise and fall at the drop of a hat, meaning a kilogram of white truffles can cost anywhere from 9,000 to 15,000 euros, depending on the harvest. What's also interesting is that the truffles are typically harvested by highly trained pigs, who can sniff them out and lead their owners to them. This means that almost all truffles are picked by hand and require a lot of effort to harvest and process into gourmet foods. Matsutake mushroom. While white truffles may grow just underneath the surface of the ground, Matsutake mushrooms grow above the ground. These mushrooms have become incredibly important to Japanese culture and are known for being some of the most sacred mushrooms in the region. In some parts of Japan, it has become customary to show your respect for a loved one by purchasing them an expensive mushroom. What makes this mushroom so expensive is that it's incredibly rare and only grows in a few select forests in Eastern Asia. On top of this, it will only sprout for a couple of months out of each year, meaning they're an extremely limited supply. They're often very difficult to grow, and hunters are sent out each year to search for them and pluck them one by one. 1 kilogram of Matsutake mushrooms can cost between 1,400 and 2,000 euros. People who've been lucky enough to taste the mushrooms say they taste fruity and spicy. Swallow's nest soup. Imagine a restaurant employee serving up a platter of bird spit, then asking you to pay several hundred euros for it. Well, in some parts of the world, this is reality. As crazy as it may sound, this meal is a Chinese delicacy that's rich in protein and is one of the most highly coveted meals in the country. Birds are known to use their own spit as a form of makeshift cement when they build their nests. To create swallow's nest soup, harvesters must travel to the top of a mountain to find a swallow's nest. They then collect the nest and bring it back to the kitchen. They'll boil the nest in water so they can remove the saliva from the twigs and branches that were used to make the nest. After this, the saliva will usually be combined with veal to create a soup that is unlike any other. It's estimated that swallows' nests cost about 8,800 euros per kilogram. Gold leaf. We all know that gold is one of the most highly sought-after metals in the world, but have you ever thought about eating pure gold? For some of the most elite members of society, eating gold can be commonplace. Gold leaf has been used to garnish everything from burgers to chicken nuggets, and some people have even consumed gold leaf steaks. It's estimated that a kilogram of gold leaf costs about 147,000 euros, but this price fluctuates all the time. Many people say that gold leaf doesn't have much of a flavor, so it's difficult to understand why anyone would spend such a large amount of money on such a useless ingredient. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.